can allow the breathing to.
Hi everyone, let's talk screen time. My daily screen time averages 1 hour and 40 minutes. So almost 2 hours that I'm just like this, like just on my phone. And that does not yet include all the other devices where I definitely do collect more screen time still, especially over the last month where I've studied for my final exams and just didn't really find the ability to stay focused over a longer period of time. It kind of dawned on me that this is increasingly becoming a problem. Not only like for my life and for my health and my ability to focus and my anxiety, but also affects other areas in my life and my friendships and relationships. And over the last month, I've made a vlog of my finals week this year, and like I had such a stressful time, and like don't get me wrong, finals week is always very stressful, but what kind of shocked me and I feel like was different to the finals that I wrote before, it was that I felt like I had such a racing mind. And I've been noticing this for longer than a month now, but my thoughts, they never quiet down. And what finally made me decide to do a social media detox was Leah Akpenar's newest video about how to focus. And she also talks about like limiting your screen time and giving your brain time where it isn't being fed new information, which also includes like music and audiobooks. Like we're constantly just in a state of consumption where an algorithm is made for us. We don't even choose what we consume. And I've noticed how it changed relationships, because when me and my partner started dating, I'm so old, wow. But social media was a thing, but TikTok wasn't. And especially like short form content, I think it grabs your attention so much. And I have seen in our relationship how our screen time has increased and how our time that we actually consciously spend together has decreased. And I think that's such a sad development, and I kind of want to get out of there. So I've decided for 1 week to stop using social media and limit all digital media that I consume, which also includes audiobooks and music, and just try and see how I will feel mentally and physically, and what areas in my life it will affect, and or whether it will have an effect at all. Like I'm going into this with no expectations. I'm just really curious to see if my assumption that social media is kind of ruining our lives is true, or at least applies in my personal life. And for that, I've written down a few rules for me, an outline of what I want this week to look like. So I'm generally not on a lot of social media platforms. I mainly just use Pinterest, YouTube, and Instagram. And because Instagram is the platform that I spend most of my time on, I've completely deleted it because I feel like there is no mindful consumption with me and Instagram. It's not going to happen. So I'm just going to keep that one off of my phone. With Pinterest, I'm allowing myself to go on Pinterest for recipes and outfit ideas only. And then for YouTube, it's the platform that I spend most of my time on. And ever since shorts have been added into the mix, I've been spending too much time on YouTube, like time that I am not in control of what I'm actually watching. For this week, I've completely banned access to YouTube. I can only use it to upload videos. That's the only thing I'm allowing, nothing else. So no long form content, no short form content. But because I don't want to completely eliminate YouTube out of my life, because it does legitimately bring me joy and I love watching long form content, I want to curate a YouTube page that doesn't feel overwhelming and that is only filled with people I actually watch and that make me feel good, and also not go on shorts. And as for all of the other digital content, because I am going to try to give my brain more rest than it currently has, I've come up with the rule that when a task takes longer than 30 minutes, I can listen to an audiobook or music, but if it takes less than 30 minutes, say I'm just quickly vacuuming the floor, that will be quiet time without music, without audiobooks, and get all of the thoughts out of my system. What is the goal of this? What is it that I'm hoping to achieve? Well, for one, as I said, I want to see if it helps me improve my focus and if it even helps me lessen my anxiety. I'm hoping that like eliminating the amount of people that I can compare myself to and the amount of news that I mindlessly consume, that I will just feel a little less anxious and that I will be more successful focusing on my own life and what feels good to me and getting a sense of the things that I personally really like and enjoy without feeling like I've been influenced by someone else. And of course, the time aspect, make better use of the time that I have. And my goal for my life here is that I just want to consume more mindfully. Not only when it comes to my digital space, but also like in general. I really want there to be an active decision in what I consume instead of what it is right now where I just watch something to watch something or go on Instagram shorts just to like numb my mind. Like if I choose to consume, I want there to be a conscious decision. And since I know that this challenge is not going to be without its challenges, I'm going to create a dopamine menu with all the things that I can do instead of going on to social media that I can always go back to and look at when I feel lost or bored. But I think the hardest part of this challenge will definitely be the in-between times for me, because that is when I use social media the most, is when I'm waiting for something, like even a loading screen in a game, I will go onto my phone. Or when like the in-between times between two tasks, like I'm done eating my lunch, but I'm not yet ready to get up, and I will just randomly go onto my phone for like 20 minutes. I think those will be like the hardest times, and I will just really try to sit there in silence. Yeah, I think that's all of the rules and the goals that I have for this week. So let's go on to making my little dopamine menu. For my dopamine menu, I was inspired by Autistic Ayla. I saw her video on Pinterest, and she divides her dopamine menu into starters, sides, mains, dessert, specials, and midnight snacks. And starters are just quick little things. Mains, that's like bigger tasks, cooking a nice meal or having a conversation with your partner, things that take a longer time. And dessert is more like a special occasion kind of thing. And midnight snack is something that you strictly do at night. And sides are background things that help make other things easier for you. And specials are like special occasion, once in a while kind of things, like short trip, things that aren't an everyday occurrence. just got out of the bathtub and I'm just having a quiet evening in, and I thought I'd check in with you guys and kind of update you because over the past few days I've only filmed snippets. My detox is going well so far, but today was the first day I've noticed real challenges after like conquering the first few days where I really had that urge still to go on YouTube or to check Instagram or just go on my phone constantly. After that passed, it felt very natural to just not be on social media. But today, my partner left and he's gone for the weekend and I'm all alone. Well, except Max, of course. And I've noticed that it was really challenging. I just felt a bit lonely, and I had a phone call that made me very uncomfortable and sad this morning, and I really just wanted to shut down and go on social media and doom scroll forever and hide in bed. Like, that's what I wanted to do today. For me, my phone was always my little procrastination because I don't usually procrastinate things, but when I procrastinate, I do it with my phone. And to not have that option today felt weird. I don't know how to cope with that still, because of course I know that going on social media when you feel bad is like a never-ending cycle, because social media just makes you feel more bad, and then you do it again, and then you continue scrolling. But conquering loneliness is, I feel like, the hardest part of this experiment yet, because like not only the scrolling or procrastination aspect, but also on YouTube, that parasocial relationship you have with people on YouTube can be a sort of, well, it sounds absurd, but it can feel like a sort of replacement for actual real life relationships. And when I'm lonely, I feel like going on YouTube and watching my favorite YouTubers and them like talking to me in a way feels, you know, very comforting. And not having that, yeah, I don't know, it just feels very empty. Especially with my rule of not listening to audiobooks or music. When I'm not doing something more than 30 minutes, I have to say that I didn't do that today. Since my partner works and currently I'm just at home because I don't have classes, the week has been so quiet. But today I really couldn't bear it and I had to listen to music and have something playing in the background, sing and dance a little and try and forget that loneliness. Those are a few challenges that I've faced, especially today. Tonight was actually quite nice. I had a relaxing bath. What? And now I was just sitting down to journal a little bit, and I wanted to tell you a bit about my journals because I've found it very helpful to journal instead of going on my phone. I actually saw a video about this that I will link somewhere because I forgot the person's name, but I saw a video about how someone basically cured their phone addiction with journaling, and I thought that was very interesting, and so I tried it. Not his exact method, but I have so many journals and I want to explain this system in like a separate video, but I just wanted to show you what I'm doing tonight. And the first thing that you saw me doing is my 5-minute journal. I've actually had this since 2022, and I did a few entries in 2022, but then like quickly abandoned this book. But I've been doing this for this past week, and I mean, it's not my fave still. It feels very, it has like a toxic positivity vibe, and toxic positivity is something that I've struggled to unlearn in my life, that my family practices religiously. And so this book, like, take it with a grain of salt, because all of these quotes in here, they have that same vibe. The prompts are cute, and I think it's definitely a cute thing to do at the start and at the end of every day to just set yourself up to have a good day. The really cool thing is my highlights journal. Every night before I go to bed, I will write down my daily highlights. And this has literally changed me this week. It's, first of all, very therapeutic to journal right before bed. It's almost like meditative, and it really helps me quiet my mind before bed and like get some thoughts out and to reminisce about the day. But the other thing that it did to me was to look out for highlights in my daily life and to notice things that I love and to notice the highlights of my day-to-day life and to be more aware of the good things that are happening to me and around me. And that was something that I didn't really expect, but I've been doing this for a week now, and already like I've noticed that I'm becoming much more aware of all of the good things that are around me, and highly encouraging you guys to try this. And it's a much more fun way to end your day instead of scrolling on your phone. And then another journal I want to show you. This is the sadness book, and I bought this a few weeks ago. I saw this in my local bookstore and I was really intrigued because, as I said with the 5-minute journal, a lot of these like prompted journals, they have like that esoteric, like toxic positivity vibe, which I just don't feel comfortable with. But this one specifically wants you to talk about sadness, which often these other types of like self-help journals, self-help books, they will want you to, you know, forget about sadness and only journal about the good things. What I really liked about this is that it's backed up by science, first of all. And like the first thing it says at the start of the book is, in a culture that celebrates positivity, the basis to focus on the positive can be damaging. And it talks here about how trying to be positive all the time is actively condemning a part of the human experience, which is sadness. And it hinders us to overcome our painful emotions and makes us suffer even more. And that's exactly like what I have experienced. It has all of these prompts. Like this one is, use this page to write a letter to your ex. And then it says here, throw it away. So you're supposed to write in here, cut out the page or rip it out and then throw it away. And apparently this is just very therapeutic. And I've only done this once and it felt really good to just have these prompts and try and deal with the sadness. So yeah, I'm also gonna journal in this thing tonight. And yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. If you are from Germany, like I highly recommend the sadness book. I found it in Thalia. I'm gonna get to journaling now and see you tomorrow. So it has been a week of no social media today. What is my conclusion? What am I feeling like? I have definitely noticed a big change. This week has definitely not felt like a normal week. It has felt longer in a way, and I feel like I can remember more and appreciate more of my week. It's been a very interesting week, and I'm very glad I did this little experiment for myself, to be honest. Let's start with the beginning of the week. In the first 2 days, it was a little hard to stay away from the phone, especially as I mentioned, these like in between times between two tasks felt very hard at first. But I think like after the initial 2 days, I didn't really have the urge to go on my phone anymore. And this might be very different for someone who has longer screen time than me. What I noticed was definitely the gradual change. Like it wasn't an instant change. It wasn't like I stopped using social media and then immediately every aspect of my life improved. It was more like I stopped using social media and then gradually over the week, I did notice some big changes. And the biggest one being, I think, much more in tune with myself, much more mindful with the things I'm doing, the things I'm consuming, living my life much more in tune with my personal goals. Because without my phone, I feel like I was intentionally choosing things to do, like, and that felt very new, because before I would just always do something and then go on my phone and then do something else, and it just, I don't know, everything kind of blurred together because I would always be on my phone between two things, and I don't know if I'm making sense, but just skipping the phone part, and instead of going on my phone, I was really like consciously thinking about, okay, what am I doing now, and do I really want to do that? That was very different for me, like, and everything I did this week, it really felt like it had been a choice. The other very big thing I noticed at the end of this week, I was able to be in silence and it wasn't a problem. At the start of the week, the silence was a really big problem for me. There were so many thoughts. Like, even when my environment was quiet, my head just wasn't able to shut up. Every moment kind of felt very stressful because of that, and there was a lot of anxiety built up in me. But now, after a week, I actually like the silence. I crave the silence, and I can very clearly distinguish between certain moods that I'm in. Like, I definitely had days where silence was more hard for me, and I would allow myself to listen to music and my audiobook then. But on other days, I really craved the silence, this newfound sense of peace and presence that I had in comparison to my partner who didn't do this detox with me. The difference is very visible because whenever he's bored, he just goes on his phone. And I can be bored now, which feels very good and insane to say it out loud. And I don't feel the urge to like fill my time with my phone. When it comes to focusing, I am definitely able to focus on longer form content much more, like when I'm watching TV shows or movies. When it comes to studying though, it's not as easy. I have noticed that I am able to focus for longer just because I wasn't able to go on YouTube, and YouTube was definitely distraction number one for me when studying. And I think in the future, I will definitely limit YouTube during exam season. But focusing on uni and studying, I don't see a big improvement on that side. But it could be just because I really don't like the subject that I'm currently studying, because when something is interesting, I tend to focus a lot more so. But maybe the focus is one of those things that just takes a longer time to adjust, and 1 week might not be enough for that. Staying on the like productivity side of this experiment, I was much more productive this week, and like I'm currently on break. I don't have classes. I just need to study for one class, and the rest of the time I really just try and relax. But without social media, I had so much more free time. I cleaned the apartment. I got so many to-dos done, and I read a book in like 3 days. And usually it takes me like at least a week to read a book. And for reading and gaming, I've definitely noticed like an increase of the time, which is ultimately one of my goals, because there's just so many books that I want to read, so many games that I want to finish playing. So that felt really good to be able to get back into my hobbies and not waste this time on social media. One big thing that I noticed, I want to be very honest here. I had one day, I don't know, I was just not feeling very good on Saturday, and so I had a little hiccup. I went on social media and I got into the politics bubble, and in that moment I really realized how much social media was messing with my overall mood, because for the rest of the week I was much more happy, much less anxious, and as I said, the racing thoughts in my head had stopped. There was less negative self-talk. I was not comparing myself to anyone I saw on the internet, because I literally didn't see anyone on the internet. And so overall, I was feeling so much better. And then I went on social media for 1 day and I felt like trash. So yeah, overall, I would say this little experiment has been very successful. For the future, I definitely want to use social media more consciously, and I'm not gonna install Instagram again. I think I'm actually gonna keep most of my rules in place, especially for exam season. And as for YouTube, I went over all my subscriptions. I really cleared out my front page, and I've only subscribed to people now that make me feel really good and whose videos make me happy. And now I just really want to find a way to consume videos without it being too much, and without me like going on the front page, like not the subscription page, but the front page, and being very distracted by videos that I'm not searching for. Trying to be more intentional with social media, and definitely trying to keep a distance to it is what I take away from this experiment, because I don't want to feel the way I did before this experiment again. I feel like this has definitely improved my life already in like 1 week, and it has improved the relationship to my partner because I'm also much more capable of listening to him and instead of being in my head. So yeah, that is my takeaway from this week. Let me know in the comments if you've ever done a social media detox and how that went for you and your takeaway from that. I hope you liked this video. It's a bit different from my usual content, but I just really wanted to try this out, and maybe in the future I'm gonna do a complete digital detox and not use any digital media for a week, which will be very hard for me. So yeah, if you'd like to see that, make sure to give this video a like and let me know. But yeah, for now, I'm gonna say goodbye. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, or evening, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!